Wiz Khalifa has never been the type to chase headlines for the sake of drama. But when he recently stepped into the ongoing rap war between Kendrick Lamar and Drake, a feud that has shaken the foundations of modern hip-hop, his words carried a weight that felt different. Known for his laid-back persona and signature stoner charm, Wiz might not be the first name people associate with rap battles, lawsuits, and diss records. Yet here he was, not only offering insight into the complex layers of the beef, but also adding his own flavor to the conversation with a surprise freestyle over one of the most talked-about instrumentals in recent memory, Kendrick Lamar's Squabble Up. Welcome to celebrity rap life, where the red carpets never roll up and the spotlight never fades. The rewards are legendary. Because in celebrity rap life, every downfall can become a comeback, and every headline tells a deeper story. Hit that like button, subscribe, and turn on notifications so you don't miss a second of what's coming next. The context surrounding Wiz's involvement couldn't be more intense. At the center of the storm is Drake's high-profile lawsuit against Universal Music Group. Filed in response to what Drake's team alleges was intentional promotion and distribution of Kendrick Lamar's diss tracks by UMG. Despite Drake being assigned artist with him, the lawsuit is more than just a legal move. It's a signal that the battle between the two rap giants has spilled outside the booth and into boardrooms, contracts, and accusations of sabotage. When asked about the lawsuit, Wiz didn't mince words. "That's a Drake move," he said coolly, implying it wasn't surprising coming from someone like Drake, who has long balanced his music career with calculated business decisions. Drake's always thinking 10 steps ahead. He's not just a rapper, he's a CEO, a strategist. People think it's all about ego, but he's protecting his assets. He's playing chess. The statement wasn't meant as an insult, it was an observation. Wiz Khalifa acknowledged that while some may view Drake's lawsuit as petty or reactionary, it's ultimately part of a larger game that includes intellectual property, market control, and narrative dominance. In today's rap landscape, winning the cultural moment is only half the battle. Controlling how your brand is handled behind closed doors might be even more important. But Wiz didn't stop there. Reflecting on the feud as a whole, he offered a perspective rooted in experience. "It's cool to see everybody just airing it out," he said, referring to the series of diss tracks, social media shots, and interviews that have defined this chapter of hip-hop. "It's like wrestling. They might be enemies today, but they could dap up next year and drop a track together. That's just how it goes sometimes." It was a refreshingly candid take, one that reminded fans that rap beef, while often brutal in content, isn't always personal at its core. For Wiz, it's part of the performance, the sport of hip-hop, where lyrical jabs are thrown not just to harm but to elevate. He acknowledged the real emotions involved, but also pointed out that beneath the surface, there's often mutual respect, or at least a shared understanding of the game. And just when it seemed like Wiz was simply playing the role of the wise observer, he turned heads with an unexpected musical move. Dropping a freestyle titled "Roll It Up," Wiz borrowed the instrumental from Kendrick Lamar's Squabble Up, a beat that's become synonymous with the fire and intensity of this ongoing feud. But Wiz didn't use it to stoke the flames or take sides. Instead, he used it as a canvas to showcase what he does best: effortless charisma, clever bars, and an undeniable groove. Roll It Up wasn't about Kendrick or Drake, it was about Wiz Khalifa reminding the world that he's still got it. Over the hard-hitting and minimalist beat, he flowed with the kind of smooth confidence that made him a household name over a decade ago. There were no disses, no subliminals, just skill and style. And in doing so, Wiz managed to honor the beat's origin while making it entirely his own. But perhaps the most telling part of Wiz's commentary came when he spoke about the larger impact of Kendrick Lamar's current run. "He's got people rapping again," Wiz said with a laugh. "Like really rapping. Punchlines, flows, storytelling. Stuff that had kinda taken a backseat. That Squabble Up joint? That beat made everybody want to get back in the booth." It's a sentiment that's echoed across the culture. In the wake of Kendrick's aggressive return to form, there's been a noticeable shift in the lyrical climate. Rappers who had once coasted on vibes and melodies are now sharpening their pens. Freestyles are back. Bars matter again. And in that sense, Kendrick's influence goes beyond diss tracks. He's reigniting the spirit of competition. That renewed energy, according to Wiz, is something the genre desperately needed. "For a while, it felt like everybody was just making songs for playlists," he said. "Now it feels like people are making music for respect again." Wiz's appreciation for lyricism didn't stop at Kendrick. When asked about J. Cole's surprising apology earlier in the year, a public moment where Cole walked back his own diss toward Kendrick, was offered insight that felt both empathetic and real. "Cole's a good dude," he said. "I think for him, it wasn't about backing down. It was about recognizing that he didn't want to go to war with someone he still considered a friend. Not every battle needs to be fought." That interpretation adds depth to a moment that had left many fans scratching their heads. Why would J. Cole, one of the most respected lyricists of his generation, choose to step away from a potentially legendary rap clash? For Wiz, the answer lies in relationships, not rhyme schemes. In an era where loyalty is often overshadowed by viral moments, Cole's move was a reminder that friendship and maturity can still have a place in hip-hop. Yet, Khalifa's stance doesn't suggest he's against lyrical warfare. On the contrary, he seems to appreciate the artistry in a good battle. "I love that energy," he said. "It pushes everybody to be better. But I also respect when someone says, 'That's not the hill I want to die on.' It's all part of the balance." Balance might be the best way to describe Wiz Khalifa's entire presence in this cultural moment. He's not caught in the storm, but he's close enough to feel the wind. He's dropping freestyles not to compete, but to contribute. He's weighing in on lawsuits and apologies, not with judgment, but with clarity. And while Roll It Up may not have been aimed at any rapper in particular, its timing, delivery, and beat choice ensured it would enter the conversation. It's a classic Wiz move, nonchalant yet calculated. He didn't ask for the spotlight, but once he had it, he used it to amplify a message that feels particularly relevant right now. Hip-hop is alive, competitive, and evolving, and everyone has a role to play. In many ways, Wiz Khalifa's role has always been one of balance. He bridges worlds, the underground and the mainstream, the battle-hardened and the laid-back, the lyrical and the melodic. He's never claimed to be the best rapper alive, but he doesn't need to. His consistency, charisma, and cultural instincts have earned him a seat at the table regardless of who's beefing with who. As the Kendrick and Drake saga continues to unfold, with lawsuits pending, diss tracks dissected, and fans picking sides, Wiz stands as a reminder that there's more to hip-hop than conflict. There's creativity. There's evolution. There's camaraderie, even amidst chaos. His freestyle may not go platinum, and his commentary might not break the internet. But Wiz Khalifa's presence in this moment is valuable. He's the observer with skin in the game, the artist who knows when to speak and when to rap, the bridge between the raw tension of a battle and the relaxed freedom of making music for the love of it. In a year defined by lyrical warfare, Wiz rolled one up, stepped to the mic, and did what he does best, floated above the drama, but never too far to ignore its pulse. His take on Drake's lawsuit, his nod to Kendrick's influence, and his acknowledgement of J. Cole's integrity all form a mosaic of insight that only someone with his vantage point could offer. This isn't about picking sides or scoring points. It's about capturing a moment, reflecting on its weight, and reminding everyone that in hip-hop, there's room for both the warriors and the wise. Wiz Khalifa, true to form, just might be both. This story is far from over, and the truth is still unfolding. I want to hear what you think. Drop your take in the comments. And if you don't want to miss the next twist, hit that like button, subscribe, and turn on notifications so you don't miss a second of what's coming next.